Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin from Women Tech Makers. Today, I'm here to tell you all about the Women Tech Makers membership program in 60 seconds. Google's Women Tech Makers provides community, visibility, and resources, helping to build a world where all women can thrive in tech. And our membership program is a free global offering for anyone who wants to stay connected with everything Women Tech Makers has to offer. So, what are the benefits of being a member, and why should you join? Well, here are just a few. You can stay up to date with the emails and resources tailored to your interests from Women Tech Makers, Google, and the global tech ecosystem. You can be the first one to get a glance at upcoming events, training opportunities, and special announcements. And lastly, and most importantly, you'll get the opportunity to connect with a global network of other brilliant women in tech. But that's not all. Today, we are joining forces with Google Developer Profile, an amazing platform that you can leverage to build your professional presence, learn about Google technologies, and unlock new achievements. Having a dev profile not only provides personalized recommendations on the best learning opportunities and communities to join, but also enables you to showcase your talents both on the platform and externally in your social media and personal sites. You've worked incredibly hard to get to where you are today. Why not showcase your skills and talents to the world? And that's why we've created a shiny new badge for membership so that you can get the best of both worlds. Anyone can join. So head over to womentechmakers.com/members to claim your badge and join our community today. Join us and help create a more inclusive future for everyone in tech.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
We are very excited. Well, welcome to all the people that already joined. I'm very excited to present this session as a Women Tech Makers Ambassador. This is my very first time having a session, not in Spanish and English. So this is like, I'm very excited about it. So uh, the main reason why I decided to knock the door to Lovable and talk with Talisha is because vibe coding it's like a huge thing right now, and there's a lot of people creating a new concepts, new projects, and also joining initiatives like Lovable Ship. That is a program that Lovable has created. So I'm very excited to share this knowledge with uh, the community and also to understand better where uh, platforms like Lovable can take us and what we can create there. So we have Talisha, that she's the community lead from Lovable, and she's going to tell us today how we can create things without code. Uh, so this is for people that is in tech, but also if just you don't have experience coding, it's going to be a great session too. So welcome, Talisha.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Talisha. I'm the community lead at Lovable, and today I'm going to be giving you a demo about what Lovable is. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, there we are. There's my screen. So, what is Lovable? So, Lovable allows you to create full stack web applications using just natural language, just how you and I would talk normally. You don't have to have any coding experience, you don't have to have any technical background. You just have to use your words to describe what you want to see in the world. So, I call it prompting things into existence. So if you log into Lovable.dev, you'll see this black box, and that's your prompt box. And this is how you start your projects. So today we're going to be creating a simple to-do app where you can create projects, add tasks, edit tasks and delete them, There should be account creation, login, sign up, and you should be able to drag and drop tasks like a Kanban board. And I'd love it to be in girly Y2K aesthetic. So as you can see, I'm not using any really technical terms here. I'm just describing it as I would describe it to a friend. Now, if you are not a native English speaker, Lovable does speak many languages, so there's not a problem there. Now, there's some buttons down here that I do want to call out. We have the attach button where you can attach. This is really small. I'm going to zoom in for y'all. Bloop. Okay, so you have the attach button where you can upload images and other things. Oops, I accidentally clicked go. I didn't mean to do that, y'all. My bad. Let's go back. So you can attach images and other things. This workspace just changes the visibility of your project. So if you don't want your project to be public where people can what we call remix it, which is copying your project, you're going to want to set that to private. And then there's this other bottom called Supabase. So Supabase is a database. And what that means is that it stores your information for your project. In this example, in the To-Do app, it will store your project name, your task, and your user authentication. So their login, sign up information. So I'm going to go ahead and click this button, and I am going to attach. So I'm going to log into Supabase. I'm going to attach my Supabase. So if you haven't signed up for Supabase, it's free. You're going to want to go to supabase.com and sign up. I'm attaching my organization, Lovable. That's where I work. And it just takes a few seconds to connect my Lovable account to Supabase. And as you can see, connection successful. And now I'm actually going to create a new project. So for this project, we're just going to call it the WTM To-Do app, right? So you generate a password, and you'll want to select the region that's closest to me. I'm on the East Coast in the US. I'm not near Ohio, but it's fine. Click I understand. It costs $10 a month if you have more than 3 projects, but the first 3 are free. So that project is going to spin up, and then you'll see a little green dot here. And there you can see it spinned up. And now I'm going to click the arrow, and now Lovable is going to code. It's going to make magic. So now while this is going, I don't know what you do when AI does all your work for you, but for me, I scroll on Twitter or TikTok. But now you can see that Lovable is explaining what we're doing, how is it going to look. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can click on this button and you can actually see the code being written if you're kind of into that thing. So now where we are now is we are at the project. This is your project like dashboard for Lovable. In the bottom left here, this is your prompt box. So this is where you can continue to iterate on your project, give Lovable commands, etc. This is a shortcuts menu where you can add things like photos, you can connect to Supabase, you can connect to GitHub. GitHub is where code is stored outside of Lovable. So if you are an engineer, then you can connect to GitHub and then you can export your code wherever. You can give it to additional engineers. You can use VS Code or your favorite IDE. You can edit it inside of GitHub, etc. If you do connect to GitHub, you now own and are responsible for 100% of your code. So do not delete it from GitHub because Lovable will no longer have it and we can't get it back. You can also view your history and set knowledge for your project. So what is project knowledge? Project knowledge is additional information to help guide your project. So here, if you were to write something, say a project requirements document, you made a plan saying, I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. You can put that into your knowledge and tell Lovable, hey, this is the plan we're going to follow. Okay, and I see a question. Could you give an example of how to create forms and where the information goes? Yes. So the information when you're creating forms is Lovable is a front-end development tool, which means basically it makes things look really good. And if you want to have that back-end functionality, meaning you want to save that data that someone typed into your form, you're going to have to connect Supabase, which is the first thing I did. So, and then after that, you would literally just tell Lovable, hey, I want to create a form with these fields, A, B, C, and D, and save it to my Supabase. So if you don't connect your Supabase before you get to your project page, it's super simple. You click on this green lightning bolt up here at the top, and then you will connect Supabase. Okay. So that is how you create forms, and your information will go into that Supabase. A couple of other things I would love to call out while we're waiting for Lovable to write the code is up in this top left corner. You can also go, oh, that's cool. You've seen some people connecting Supabase as a database. Yes, Supabase is our preferred database for Lovable, and Lovable knows how to write all the code for Supabase. It makes it super easy. And yes, you can connect things like NAN, Make.com, Lindy's to Lovable to create agents and all sort of things. Okay, cool. So now we see that our project has been created. Okay, awesome. I see it didn't connect Supabase for me, but that's fine. So here's my project. I can create a new project. WTM live stream. Hey, girlies. Okay, I can change the colors, which that's a nice little touch. I can create my project, and then as you can see, and I can go into my project, and I can add tasks, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then I can't slide the task. So that's okay. There's a few errors. But what we're going to do next, since we're going to connect my Supabase project. So I'm going to connect my project that I created, the to-do app. We connect the project, and as you can see, it loads for a second. You can say it's super easy. I love that. You can. It's super easy. Okay, awesome. So we've connected Supabase, and now as you can see here, it said I've connected to Supabase. And the next thing we want to do is I want to be able to create an account to log in and sign up. So I'm literally just going to say that. I want my users to be able to create an account, sign in, I can't spell, sign in, and log in using email and password. And don't forget a forgot password. So whatever you want it to be, you just type it in, and you go ahead and you click go. Now, you see here, there's a chat mode. So this is how you chat with Lovable without making any edits. And using chat mode is really great when, one, you're stuck, debugging, or you're just unsure of what you want to do. So in this example that we had, something that we might use chat mode for is, as you can see, when I drag and try to add the tasks, they don't add. I can't see them. So I would use chat mode, and I would describe that. So that's something that we'll do after I add the login and authentication. So anytime you ask Lovable to do anything with Supabase, your database, your backend, etc., you're going to see a code block like this. This is called SQL. And this is the coding language that the database uses. Now, don't worry if you don't know SQL, because I'm convinced that no one actually knows how to write in SQL. But Lovable does write handy dandy comments in plain English. And if you're unsure, you can always turn on that chat mode and ask Lovable to explain it to you. Or you can use an external tool like Gemini and say, hey, can you explain this SQL code to me? I'm not understanding. I want it to do these things in natural English. Is it doing this? So I'm going to go ahead and trust the process, but don't do that. Don't just trust the process. You should read this. But I'm going to trust the process and click the apply changes button. So that's going to run that SQL code for you and do all of the magic on the back end so that we can have our login. Just the process. So that we can have our login. So that's going to take a few minutes. And while we wait, I noticed that I was clicking this button and I didn't tell y'all what it was, but this hides the sidebar so that it can be more full screen. But also, if you want to see what your website kind of looks like without the Lovable project, you can click on this arrow here, and this is going to open your project in a new tab, in a new window. This is super important when you're doing third-party authentication. So say you want to log in with Google. If you do it in the Lovable project and you're trying to log in with Google and Google's like, no, it's because Google's security measures are blocking it from within inside the Lovable kind of sandbox or iframe. So you're going to want to pop it out to where it's on its own. And then your Google authentication should work properly. I can't tell you how many people have gotten frustrated and they're like, oh, my Google Auth isn't working. But actually, they just needed to pop it out of that iframe so that they can use it properly. Okay, so let's go back and see. Okay, Lovable's still working. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all have about Lovable, about what I'm doing, going back and reviewing something. That is fine. So right now we're just waiting on Lovable to finish writing this code. I can also point out the history button. So each time you make a change in Lovable, it will be here in your history tab. And you can put a little bookmark. Let's say I really like this version. I can put a little bookmark. That way, when I come back after I have, hundreds of different edits that I've made, I can say, okay, I remember that this is the version I want to go back to. So you can see different versions. I'm not going to click on it now because we're doing something, but you can see different versions, and then you can revert to those versions. So if I changed the color scheme and I didn't actually like it, I can go back, or I added a page that shouldn't be there. I can come to the history, click on one of the edits I made, and then revert back to that edit. What are some of the best practices for prompting Lovable? Is it best to provide kind of a product requirements file or short prompts? What have you seen works best? So there are two sides to this. For your initial prompt, long, detailed prompts do work for the first prompt only. As you continue to iterate, it is best to create that product requirements document or that plan, save that to your knowledge, and then send Lovable bite-sized chunks for prompts. I like to think of Lovable and really any AI as like a PhD level toddler. If you tell a toddler 10 different things to do at once, they might do one or two of those things, but they're more likely to do none of those things and come back with like a lollipop. And you're like, where did you even get this lollipop from? I told you to go get the groceries out the car. And they're like, I don't know. So the AI often does that as well. If you give it this long list of things, you're like, I want to do this, that. And next thing you know, your whole app is broken and everything's blue. And you're like, how did it even get blue? So when you're prompting, when you're within the project, you want to stick to small, very focused prompts, and you want to give Lovable some leadway. So you don't want to be overly specific. because a lot of the times Lovable knows the best practices to do, say, pagination, right? So the little 1, 2, 3 with the little arrow so you can change the pages. If you're too specific, Lovable will try to do exactly what you asked for, and it probably will mess it up. But you can just say in general, hey, add pagination to the bottom of this page, and then Lovable will do it. Okay. Does Lovable automatically take regional compliance into account, like GDPR or CCPA, when generating code related to data handling or user privacy? Or should we explicitly be prompting Lovable to generate code in terms that are aligned with our specific location or jurisdiction? So Lovable mostly does front end things. So it's not really handling any data. That will be done in Supabase, right? And Supabase is GDPR, HIPAA, all of those SOC 2 compliant. However, inside of Lovable, it is best to always turn on chat mode and ask, hey, am I GDPR, CCPA, et cetera, acronym compliant? Am I using best practices? Can you make a checklist for me? So I would explicitly ask Lovable just to be sure. And then also, if you are making a website that does handle sensitive data or information, I wouldn't trust any AI to do it. I would hire a lawyer just to be sure. So now let's test our sign in, sign up. So I'm going to show you a little tip when you're testing out login authentication with Supabase. You're going to want to come to your Supabase project. You're going to hover over the left sidebar like such, click authentication, and then you're going to go to sign in/providers. You're going to click on that. And you're only going to have to do this the first time, okay? But you're going to want to make sure you do it when you're doing your sign in, sign up. Click on email. As you can say, it's enabled. And we're going to toggle off confirm email. Now we're going to do this for 2 reasons. The first reason being that Supabase email confirmation and email, all of their transactional emails they send for like password reset, etc., are rate limited. You will have to connect your own email server if you want to send those kind of, hey, confirm your email, hey, welcome, etc. You're going to have to set up your own email server. So it's only for testing. And 2, I turn it off because confirming my email every time I want to log in and test something is very annoying. So you should turn it off because it gets annoying after the second time. You're like, ugh. So toggle that off so that you can properly test your sign in, sign up. We toggle that off. Now let's sign up. So I'm going to go and I'm going to sign up. I'm going to put my email in and I'm going to put a password and I'm going to sign up. Awesome. And as you can see, I'm in. It has my name. Welcome. We're in. I have no projects. Now let's see if this has put in the data. So I'm going to create a new project. And let's say I need to go grocery shopping. I do need to go grocery shopping, y'all. We're going to make it purple. That's my favorite color. I need to buy food. I actually do need to buy food. Okay, so it's in there. We see it. I'm going to sign out, and then I'm going to sign back in. So this is just part of the testing process. So whenever you're building with Lovable, I say you should test everything every single time you make a change, because there's nothing worse than getting 10 prompts in and then you go back to test something and then everything's broken because you weren't testing properly. So let's go ahead and sign in. Awesome. And as you can see, my grocery shopping is still here. Look at that. We've built an entire to-do app. Let's add some tasks. Okay, to-do, buy bagels. I don't know where I put that. I don't eat bagels, but it's the first food that pop into my head for some reason. This is low priority. Okay, so I'm supposed to buy bagels. Let's see if I can move it. Okay, that's still not working. So as you can see, we have some type of bug here. So I do want to go over debugging. Could you give an example of how to create forms? Yes, I'll create a form, but I mean, basically this is a form, right? So this is technically a form, and then the information goes into Supabase, right? I saw another question. There we are. What are some common mistakes or missed opportunities you've seen people make when they first start using Lovable? You mentioned using the chat buddy, which sounds like a powerful way to get most out of it. Are there other tips or mindset shifts you recommend for beginners? Yes, there is. So the first thing, if I've never used Lovable before, like this is my first time, the first thing I would do is I would just play around with it. I would just put some ideas out there. I would kind of get a feel for it. You get 5 free credits a day. So I would utilize those 5 free credits just to figure out how things work, get comfortable with the tool. And then once I'm serious, I'm like, okay, I kind of know where the buttons are. I kind of know where it works. I've tested different prompts. I've got my settings just right. Then I would use an external AI, say your Chat GPT, your Claude, your Google Gemini, etc. I would use one of those to just yap with for like an hour, saying, okay, I want to build, like if I was really trying to build a production ready to do app to give to users, whether that's internal users, external users, or just like my household, I would yap with the LLM, say, okay, this is what I'm trying to build. I'm building it on Lovable. What's the best way to build this? What's the most efficient way? What are some of the things I should be mindful of, etc. And so I would just get everything out of the way beforehand and create that plan before you begin, because it's going to save you a lot of time and frustration. So you're going to want to make sure you're creating a plan. Another thing that I see a lot of people make mistakes the first time they're using Lovable is that they lack patience. Patience is a virtue, especially when dealing with these AI tools. It's not always going to go exactly as planned. It feels like magic, but it's not. So you have to be patient and you have to think through what's happening. Don't just yell at the AI and say, fix it, fix it. What's wrong with you? You're doing it wrong. Fix it. Ah. Because, like, would that help if you were yelling at a toddler saying, stop doing that, stop doing that? Ah. No, they're just going to look at you and then they're going to continue doing what they're doing and they might cry. So you shouldn't do that to your toddlers or to your AI. You have to have that patience. So now I'm going to demonstrate chat mode, and we're going to demonstrate how to fix this error that we're having. And we're going to do something that I like to call rubber ducking. Okay, I don't know why I said I like to call. It is what it's called. It's called rubber ducking. And I always have my rubber ducks on my desk. This is my Stitch Easter rubber duck. Isn't it cute? Okay, so rubber ducking is a method in software engineering where you explain step by step your process of what you're building to an inanimate object, which a lot of people use rubber ducks. So this is something very common, and because it's so common and such a well-used tool and exercise, you can actually tell Lovable in any LLM really to rubber duck yourself, the situation, etc. And the best way I like to format this prompt is, number one, I like to explain what is wrong. So right now, I cannot drag and drop my task into the other columns. Okay, so that's what's wrong. I can't drag and drop my tasks into the other columns. I could go into more detail. I could say that like I drag it and it doesn't stay, that it kind of jumps back, it's glitchy. Like give as much detail as you can. And again, just in natural language. You can use silly words like it's flickering, it's beeping, it's jumping. Like it's okay. You just want to try to be as detailed as you can. I know I'm not doing that right now, but when you're doing it, you should be as detailed as you can. So the second thing, after you have explained, okay, this is the problem I'm facing, you should tell it exactly what you want it to do. So in my situation, when I click a task and drag it to another column, it should stay there and be updated in the database. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is say rubber duck yourself. So again, I am debugging, which just means fixing something that isn't working for me. And that is when I drag it, as you can see, it jumps back, right? It's not dragging to the place that I wanted to drag. And what I did is I explained the problem. I can't drag and drop. I told the AI how I want it. When I click a task and drag it to another one, it should stay into that other column. And also it should update the status from, to do to, was it in progress? Yes, from to do to in progress within the database. And then I'm going to tell it to, of course, rubber duck yourself. So we're going to put that in chat mode and have a go with that. And so in chat mode, Lovable will actually read through all of your files. So as you can see, I need to investigate and see it's reading through different files. And then it says, okay, looking at the code, I can see the issue with the drag and drop functionality. What's that say? Stop moving. Do I know what the problem is? Okay, yes, I found the problem. The drag and drop isn't working because the columns themselves are not set up as drop zones. Here's what's happening. So it's explaining what's happening. It's telling me what files. It's giving me the problem. And now this is the really great part about chat mode. It's going to give me a solution to my problem and a plan on how to implement that solution. And at the bottom, we have this button that says implement the plan. Bloop. So now it's going to implement the plan that it just came up with, that I didn't read, but you should read it. Okie dokie. So now it's writing all of the code to implement the plan that we just talked about to fix the drag and drop functionality. So let's see that. And if you have any questions, again, please ask them. I never know what to do in between when I'm just waiting. So ask me questions. Please, anything you want to know. I'll point out some more things. So this up here is like your nav bar. So you can go to different pages. Okay, I see a question. You mentioned users get 5 credits a day. Does that mean 5 total generations responses? If so, do you recommend focusing on building just one key feature at a time, like a to-do list or sign-in flow, instead of trying to generate an entire app in one go? Yes, so 5 free credits a day. That means each time you chat with Lovable, that is a credit. So every time you put something in the prompt box and you click this button here, that is a credit. So whether it writes code or not, like if you're in chat mode, it still costs 1 credit. Now, do I suggest doing one feature at a time? Yes, absolutely. Now, in your first generation, you can try to push the limits and try to see what you can get from one prompt. But that is called, that's like prompt engineering. So it could take a few times before you get used to it or get good at it. But in general, I would say go feature by feature and really learn how things work together and the best order for you to build. So let's see if Lovable has fixed our drag and drop problem. It did! Woohoo! Yay! Done! Oh, okay, we got another error. Failed to update task status. So I can't go back? Oh, no, I can. Okay. I don't know what that was about. It works. Cool. So it works. So let's review. If I work on several projects during the month and they remain active, do I always have to pay for the same membership level I currently have? No. So if you are, say, on the 100 credits a month plan, you build 5 projects, and then next month you downgrade, you still have access to your projects. You just won't have any credits to edit them anymore. But your projects will still be live. They're not going to go away. You still have access to them. Okay, so let's review everything we've done. So far, we've created a sign in, sign up, as well as forgot password. So I can sign in with my email address and my password. I sign in. We've created a database to store my projects. I can create new projects. I don't know what this color does still. Oh, okay, makes that yellow. I can create new projects. I can open those projects, and I can create tasks. Okay, so I can also edit that. I cannot edit those tasks, and I cannot delete the task. Okay, so that's something else that we would fix. And I would literally just say, I cannot edit or delete task. And I'll put that in chat mode, and then boom. But that's what we've done so far. I think I have a little more time, and I can show y'all some other things. So I would just put that error, I cannot edit or delete tasks, in chat mode, and let's see what's going on. It's checking the console logs. So the console logs, if you don't know what that means, console logs are information that your code gives your computer, and you can find that by going into your dev tools of your browser. But don't worry, you don't have to do anything, because as you can see, Lovable can see them for you. So don't even worry about it. When it comes to When it comes to prompting Lovable, do you think it's better to have super detailed and provide as much reference material as possible, like Figma files, screenshots, or written specs, or is it sometimes better to leave room for Lovable to be more creative and surprise you with ideas? Ooh, tongue twister. Yes. So I think it depends. So when it comes in handy to be more detailed is when it comes to the design of things. So if you want things to look a very specific way, that's when a lot of details comes into handy. However, when it comes to functionality, how things work, it is a little better for you to give more free range to Lovable, because Lovable is trained on best practices, and it usually can implement things better than you can describe them. So just like this, I wasn't very specific on how this drag and drop should work, but I could have went into more detail, but that would have just made it a little more complicated. And especially when you're trying to focus on getting things to work and not making them perfect, it is much better to just be a little more broad. Like, I want a Kanban board, or I want it to be mobilely responsive, instead of going into detail and saying, hey, on the mobile view, I wanted to have the 3-line hamburger menu. And then when you click on it, it swipes out from the right. Like, that can be a little too detailed. If you say mobile responsive, it is likely just going to make the 3 hamburgers that slides out, because that's what best practices are. Okay, so I'm going to see if this worked. Oh no, because I put it in chat mode. So we're going to implement the plan. And then I'm going to call out a few other things. So if you want to see what your project looks like in mobile, you click on this button, and then it will change it from mobile to desktop. So you can see what it looks like. You can also see and edit your code by clicking the brackets here. And so if you are an engineer or you have some coding knowledge, you can go in and you can edit all of this. I do not suggest doing that unless you know what you're doing, because you will break stuff. Also, I saw a question. I usually struggle with changes to font and color styles changing. Do you have tips on how to prompt to maximize the result? Actually, I have a really great tip if you want to change styling. What you're going to, okay, y'all, I was clicking on the video instead of the actual screen. That's funny. Okay, if you want to change things like your fonts and your colors and how things look on the page, I would use the edit mode. So if you click on the edit in your prompt box, you can now select individual elements on your page. So I can select your projects, and I can add things like margin, padding, font size, font weight, the colors, etc. I can even change the text. I can prompt it with selecting an individual component. So I could select this card and say that I want it to look like this, etc. And that way it will only focus on that one element. I do say someone says, does edit consume credits? So if you edit using these different components, like you're changing the margin, padding, etc., that does not consume credits. If you enter a prompt, so if I say natural language and words to edit, that does consume a credit. Okie dokie. So there's we go. Let's see if we see that it's finished now. Let's see if it did it. Okay, so we're going to try, I'm going to open a project, see can I edit. Oh, it still doesn't work. Well, that's fine. Let's refresh the page. Sometimes turning it off and turning it back on surprisingly works. Why? I have no idea. Okay, so this works. Let's update it. Okay, but if I go in and try to edit my task, the task doesn't work. Huh, interesting. Okay, how much time do I have? I don't want to spend all my time debugging. But as you can see, I do these all the time and I still need to debug. So don't freak out if you get errors. I do want to show you, from what I've seen here so far, it looks like Lovable can generate web apps, but can it also create native mobile apps? And if so, is there a preview mode or simulator for that, similar to what you're showing here? So no, unfortunately, Lovable does not create native mobile apps. There are some ways around that. I have seen people create native mobile apps on Lovable by wrapping their web app. You can also create progressive web apps using Lovable, but we do not support like native mobile apps. Lovable is a very opinionated platform, which means that you cannot code in different languages. So Lovable only writes code in TypeScript and uses Vite. So if you want to use something like Next.js, Python, etc., Lovable does not support those languages. But I will say, because we're an opinionated tech stack, it makes it really easy. You don't have to think about like what should go into your project. You just tell it in natural language. So I do want to show you something. So I'm going to have Lovable create a build error because I want to show you what a build error on the platform looks like. A build error means that something within the code did not execute properly. So it wouldn't be a front end like when we had with the dragging of the task. This is something within the code itself. So I'm going to have Lovable intentionally create one so that I can show you how to resolve that. So it didn't even create a build error. That's so funny. If it had, I'm sorry, it's funny. If it had created a build error, you would have seen a little card like this blue one that said build error. And then you'll be able to click on that card and see what the error is. It's okay if you don't understand it. You don't have to. And then just go ahead. There'll be a button just like this one that says try to fix. You can click that button and then Lovable will try to fix its own error. Now, if you click the try to fix button, that does not consume a credit. Debugging on your own using something like the rubber duck method does consume a credit. However, clicking Lovable's own try to fix button does not consume a credit. So now I'm going to go and publish my site. When you're ready to publish your site, it's super easy. You click the button. You can see that I have 2 super base warnings, which you should be concerned about, especially, like I said, if you're doing things with sensitive user information and you need to be like HIPAA compliant or something, you should check these out. You can also run a security review, and it will look through all of your code and it'll look through Superbase to see if there are anything that is potentially vulnerable. But I can publish my site, and before I do, I can change my subdomain, which is free. Subdomains are free. So I can change it, and I can change it to WTM to do. I rename my project. And so now my domain will be WTM/todo.lovable.app. But let's say I have my own domain, WTM-todo.com. I can click on custom domains. I can click on custom domains. I can click on custom domains, and I can connect a domain that I already own, or if I don't own a domain, I can go buy one, and they're like $1, and you don't have to configure any DNS or anything like that. You just click the buttons. It's really easy, and I recommend it if you want, like, especially like you want your own landing page, your own portfolio. It's a lot easier than having to go to these domain providers, configure your DNS, wait for things to, proliferate. That's just a lot of work. You don't have to do that with Lovable, which I think is really cool. Okay, so I'm going to publish my app, publishing, and it takes like, I don't know, less than a minute. And after it's published, boom, boom shakalaka, and I'm going to post it in the chat. And now y'all can all go onto this website that we just created and try it out for yourself. You can sign up, create an account, make to-dos and tasks, etc. Yep, shipped. Woo! In like 45 minutes. Woo, 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 woo. And now I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about building on Lovable, about Lovable as a whole, anything that you have. And that's my demo. Q&A time. Ask me your questions.
Super interesting what you can do and what you can achieve in a very short time with Lovable.
Exactly.
So, where we can find resources, where we can like get some ideas and examples.
Yeah, so you can get examples if you go to our docs. That's the word I was looking. Oh my gosh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whew. Whoa. Okay, y'all. So we have a problem, and I am just going to complain to our engineers really, really quickly. Just hold on with me for like 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. 2 seconds here. This is in real time. Okie dokie. Houston. But if we don't have a problem, you can go to our documentation, and we have a lot of examples. Oh my gosh. We have a lot of examples of different apps. Oh, thank you, Maria. We have a lot of examples of different apps. We're just going to take this page off. It's very intimidating. Okie dokie. But we have a lot of examples on our documentations of things people have built and examples of how to do different things. We also have a course that I created on Build Club, and I will drop that link as well in the chat.
Build Club, it's available for everyone right now, or You
Yes,
can. Oh, okay.
it is. It is. So you can go on Build Club, and I did a course with them. And then you don't want to publish right now. Can you make it private again? Yes, of course. What? Oh, wait. After you publish? No. After you publish it, it is published. You can't like unpublish a website. But if you can make your project private if you go to settings, and you have to be on a pro account, and then you can keep your project hidden. But like the website itself, you can't unpublish things from the website. I mean, from the internet. The internet just doesn't work that way. um, Even if you take it down, somebody could have already, cached the website, and you can go on Wayback Machine and look at it. So you can't unpublish things from the internet. Remember that the internet is forever, you guys. But you can you can switch your project itself from public to, okay, let me stop clicking things. Okay. Once the site is launched, how do updates work? Do we come back to Lovable to make changes, or do we push the code to GitHub and handle the updates manually from there? So you can do it either way, but yes, you can just come to Lovable. Like this site is published, I can say make the design neo-brutalism. I don't know. Make the design neo-brutalism. You can, after it like makes it and updates it, I can then click publish and click update. There's nothing to update, so it's not going to work. But if I had made an edit, I can click publish and click update, and then it will update it. So super easy peasy lemon squeezy there.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question for you, Talisha. Oh, let me see. There's another question here.
This one's for both of you. Based on everything we've seen today, if you're building something for yourselves using Lovable, what kind of product or app would you personally create? That's a great question. I actually build things on Lovable every day. But if I was building something just for me, not for work, not for like my friends or my family or anything, I would build an email app that answers all of my emails, because you guys, I have so many emails, it's ridiculous.
Well, in my case, I'm working in a project for my dogs and my cats, and just to have a better record for and vaccines, everything.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm very excited. I'm currently building that project. It's called Roll Up Pets, and uh, I don't have any experience with code. And if you enter to like my site, you can see like it doesn't feel like very a rookie site, if that makes sense. But it feels like it's professional, and you can start. Other thing that I noticed about Lovable is that when you start to work, you can get like a little bit addicted to create projects, to update your website or whatever you're doing. So I really enjoy it. It's like building something, but at the same time playing. It's something that I really enjoy about that.
Nice.
There's a lot of dopamine building with Lovable. So I think if we don't have any more questions, we have time for a couple of questions. Uh, I'm going to share my process using Google Gemini. It's going to be super short. As I said, I'm learning with Lovable. So let me share my screen. And what I'm doing basically is first I create I have several ideas, and I brainstorm with ChatGPT, and then go to Claude and ask for feedback. And then when I have my whole plan and my whole idea, I go to Gemini. And in Gemini, why I'm using Gemini to create um, my whole project is because Gemini has a lot of context. You can create like the whole projects and all the versions of this project. For me, it's more like a business project, like all the content related with who is the person that is going to receive the product or is going to get like the service, and all the steps and pages that I want my project have. So I this is my project for Rollup. I'm going to share you some sensitive information now. But here's like the whole project and with all the versions. And when I come with a new idea or something, a new feature that I want to add, and just to not get lost, because when you have a project, sometimes you want to add more and more features because something comes to your mind. So I started to summarize and create like the document and the version. And that version and that document, I usually update the knowledge on Lovable. That I think it's very important. And a quick question about that, Talisha. With the context that we provide in the project, it's a good idea to update it from time to time, and how long that context can be.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact number of like characters the context can be, but if you're putting your context in your knowledge file, I do think it makes sense to update it from time to time, especially if you're one of the people like me who likes to change their mind halfway through the project. So you should update that. And then also another thing you can do is you can keep that file within your project itself. So you can tell Lovable, hey, create like a change log or like a working information file. And then after every update, you can tell it to say, hey, update this file with what we did and how we did it and refer to it. Like I put refer to this file in my knowledge base. So that's
Okay,
also something like if you forget to update, you can have Lovable do it.
that's a good hack. That's a good tip. I didn't know about it. So if you want to have the control of your like the versions of your business plans, for example, for your Lovable project, you can have like create uh, updated version uh, of my project. But here, the most important part, I know that ChatGPT and Cloud has like the same option. You can download a PDF, but it's easier, in my opinion, with Gemini. First of all, for the context that you can have there, and second, because you can export it immediately to your Google Drive, so you can have like organize all the version that you're doing with your. As you can see, this is the is in Spanish, but it's the version number 6. And basically, I have everything here, like all the models that I wanna implement in my project. This is like I go to, well, this is going to take a while. And other tool that it's helping me, uh, let me know if you're seeing this. It's Jules. I'm not good like with explaining like or understanding the errors that my project have, because I don't have any experience, or I have like a mid experience creating uh, websites and apps. So I use Jules to look for uh, bugs or to have uh, a better idea what I can refine in my project. And Jules, it's a free tool that you can use right now from Google, and it helps a lot to identify. You can create. Let me see if I can something some. Let me see if I can. For example, I'm going to share like based on my project what we should repair or that's just an example, and it's going to give me a plan. This is like I connect my GitHub and it's going to create everything from here, like that to-dos, a to-do list.
Cool. Are you
You're going.
sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm sharing my screen. Let me see. Sharing this tab. Let me see if you can see it.
Or maybe I just can't see it because I'm backstage. Or maybe everybody else does. Let us know.
Oh,
Can y'all see her screen or no?
you have. Let me see. I think yes, we are. Okay, and then please specify. Let just check. We're going to check, and he's going to check like the whole project. I can. You can see it. Let me. Oh, let me see. I have to update this. Let me see if you can see it now.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
now. Now it is.
sorry. Okay, so basically right now it's like creating like the whole list. For example, last night we worked like optimizing the images that are in my site and some tasks in the site. And well, right now it's waiting for your info to continue working. So this is a Jules. I know that you didn't see it because I wasn't sharing my screen, but basically you have to um, you have to create like the connection with your GitHub account and your Lovable account. And for like magic, it's going to start to know everything like about your project and what what are the bugs that your project have. You can like create like a whole like to check all the bugs that your project have in that moment. And basically you can update all the errors that probably Lovable doesn't recognize or doesn't optimize in that moment with Jules. So I think it's a great tool. If you have, this is something that I like learning, and also it's a beta from Google. But if you want to have like the experience to um, or to recognize the errors that your site may have or to implement better practices, this is a good tool that you can use. And with Gemini, let me see. When I finish my plan, I just exported to docs, and that's how I manage all the versions that I have of my business plan. And you can have it here. And I really like how organize everything. And I just have to create like a version 6. So, and that's it. So it's something like you have to experience like uh, you can use and experiment with a lot of tools, and I think you can create beautiful products. I have seen beautiful services and products implemented with Lovable, and I think we are in a new age, in a new moment, and in a very special moment. Like if you don't have any experience coding like me, but you want to create something, an idea that you have in the past, and you, maybe you didn't have the right person to develop that idea, now you have like all the tools that to create what you want. And I appreciate, Talisha, all the knowledge that you shared with us today. And I don't think we have more questions. And so where we can, how we can start to build, it's just creating like the count lovable.dev.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of, I think another, no, I don't find the name of the girl right now, but where we can get resources like for our communities. Like if we want to share there, I know that there's a lot of ambassadors right now. Uh, so what we can start like to share or uh, like, hey, this is lovable here. Like I know that you share like the site, but there's any content related for communities or something like that, or are you planning to have like like an ambassador plan for people that want to join and have experience, or there's like chapters for uh, from lovable enthusiasts in some countries? I don't know. Maybe you have a better idea.
Yeah, no, so Lovable, we do have an ambassadors program. It's just kind of in beta right now. But once that rolled out to everyone, then you'll be able to apply on Lovable.dev. It'll probably be like Lovable.dev/ambassadors. It's just not up right now. But once that rolls out, you'll be able to get an ambassador plan. And then we are actually, right now, as we speak, we're spinning up local meetups all over the world, which will be posted on our Twitter at lovable_dev. So be sure to follow us on Twitter/X for all of the community updates, because we're working on some really great stuff for our communities.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Talisha, for your time today.
Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
And thank you. And for everyone, we're going to share this session, and don't forget to follow Women Tech Makers on LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, especially WTM Latam for Latin America. So thank you so much for joining us today, and see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.